Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rum and a Couch video number 88. Dave here from Manchester Rum Festival, and apologies that I've not really seen you guys too much since the Rum Fest back on June the 18th. It's been pretty busy in terms of getting next year sorted out already, but ultimately taking in everything that happened at the Rum Fest. So a huge thank you to all who were able to get down to the Mercure Hotel in Piccadilly Gardens and embrace over 60 brands in the end. Some fantastic responses, a great mix of the brands we had as well, which I believe went down very, very well. So there's something for everybody. So thank you very much for all who came down, and of course all to the exhibitors, including the guys at the Lions Club Cocktail Bar and the guys at the Yamin who put some amazing food on. And fingers crossed we'll have you all again at some point next year. But like I say, we're back onto Rum and a Couch. And I actually a couple of bottles from the Rum Fest itself. So I thought I'd showcase one of them today, because this one should have been at 2020. Unfortunately, couldn't do the rearranged date for last year. So he made sure he was able to get up from London and showcase his own brand, which is this beautiful looking bottle, Streamertail. So Streamertail, I was intrigued enough to give it a go back in London, a couple of years ago now, at Ian Burrell's London UK Rum Fest. And to be fair, the label, it was sort of got me onto the table a little bit. I was intrigued. It's a nice, simple, yet actually quite vibrant looking label. And obviously, what is a Streamertail? So this one is a 40% ABV rum. And I'm going to read the back of the label because it always gives a nice little bit of context. So the Streamertail hummingbird is the national bird of Jamaica and embodies the essence of that verdant, vibrant and beautiful country. Streamertail rum captures the smooth and pure spirit of the Caribbean, where the world's best rum has been made for centuries. I can vouch for that. Great care has gone into balancing Jamaican flavour, and naturally with the hummingbird, but also balancing with Trinidadian elegance to create a simple, delicious and quality blend with no added sugar, spices or colouring. And apparently it says it holds its own in any cocktail as well, being so smooth you can sip it straight. That sounds like my kind of young rum. Now, where's the opening? Is the question to ask. There we are. Or not. You can always tell it. You do it in one. I'm going to go old school and just rip it off a bit. Sorry, Archie. So, there's nothing better sometimes than enough cork pop from the bottle itself. Got my little Glencairn glass, so let's give this a go. Healthy measure. It's a Saturday. So 40% ABV. Doesn't get the age profile with this, but we do know obviously it's a blend between Jamaica and Trinidad. And I've noticed actually a couple of rums lately are starting to involve a bit more Trinidadian. Not the Corona, the old school expressions that are so sought after, but using that that lighter sort of, I do get a little bit of funkiness with Trinidadian, to be fair. You know you've got a Trinidadian in your mouth. And the first thing I get that, it's like dried green fruits, your apples and pears. But you get the Jamaican, you get that funkiness coming through. But ultimately, it's not as vibrant as a pure Jamaican rum. It starts to throw you a little bit. And I think that's the Trinidadian elements coming through and just sort of softening a little bit. Very, very fresh. It's weird because every time I put my nose towards the glass, it's almost as if you're having like a bit of a, you know, when you open a bag of mint, you get that real sort of powerful freshness. That's a really good experience there. Anyway, let's give it a go. Like I say, 40% ABV. Not too powerful, quite mid-centre on the palate as well. The ripeness of those green apples, and I do get the pear element as well, sort of really shines through. It's like you just bit into a green apple. You're getting the sort of juiciness. It's about similar texture towards it as well. A little bit dry on the finish. Let's give it another sip, because that second sip will always give us a great idea of what we may have missed. A little bit of banana. That's the Jamaican elements of my mind coming through there. What else do I get there? A little bit of papaya. It's quite light, quite thin. You get the power to a point, and that's the Jamaican elements coming through. But that Trinidadian stylings are really kind of rounding off quite nicely. It gets a little bit wider on the finish as well. Sort of that last bit of wave just goes boom and hits the sides quite nicely. I get a marshmallow texture. That's what it is. I was thinking it's the skins, but it's almost like, you know, when you actually bite into a green apple, when you start to bite again and your tongue hits the inside of that sort of texture, it's that. And it does remind me of the texture you get with marshmallows as well. Hasn't got the, obviously, like the squidginess of it, but ultimately it's a very similar scenario. And to be brutally honest, as we've done with a couple of these rums on the Rum and the Couches over the last 2 years, is nothing's come to my mind straight away to think that this needs something to go with it. You know, a mixer, or it's just, no, it has to be into a cocktail. It's the only way to drink it. This ticks the box, yeah. As it says on the back, holds its own in any cocktail, as well as being so smooth you can sip it straight. Yeah, I can sip this straight. And I can see why Archie had a very busy table, to be fair, at Manchester Rum Festival. This is surprisingly good. And like I said, I have had this before. It was a handful of years ago. I did have a little nip at the Rum Fest as well. Actually, I didn't have a lot of time to drink a lot of the rums. But ultimately, I bought a bottle because I was still intrigued. It was like, yes, I remember these kind of flavours now. It's not the expected Jamaican. It's not the expected Trinidadian. Bring those two together. This is something quite unique, quite different. Would you have this in a cocktail? Yes. Would it be working in a daiquiri? I think it would. You know, it's clean enough to strike up quite nicely. I probably wouldn't have I wouldn't offer too much in the lime, and I'd probably only add a dash of sugar. I'd keep that rum shining through. So maybe something like a tea punch might work better. Stir that daiquiri down instead. And I think shaking it might lose some of those nuances you pick up. But other than that, a mojito actually, some mints would really freshen this quite nicely. And I keep the sparkling water. I won't go for soda. I really get the effervescent element coming through. Would I have it in a mixer? Possibly. I wouldn't have a cola or anything sort of too rich. I tell you what, the sponsor mixer that we had, and I apologize for forgetting to mention at the very beginning, but Stratford Sodas went down very, very well at Manchester Rum Festival this year. And they have their tropical expression. I think that could work quite well. You want to retain that sort of slight tropical, fruity vibe towards it. It may need a bit of a ratio balance there, but ultimately I think that could be a really good shout for this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Streamertail. Thank you very much for Archie for coming up to Manchester Rum Festival and showcasing his ware as well. And ultimately, for everyone who purchased a bottle, thank you very much for supporting a new brand. If you had picked up a bottle and you've cracked it open already, why don't you let me know in the comments what you think, maybe what you've been playing around in a cocktail or a mixer, or who you've been sharing it with friends as well. There will be a handful of other Rum on the Couch episodes, but I'm going to showcase one or two of the other bottles I picked up, but also many, many others that I've gained over the last couple of weeks. So a bit of a hit of the Rum on the Couches in the next week or so. But ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. Do check out Streamertail. Have a look on their socials. Have a look on their websites. There are a lot of more recommended retailers to pick up as well. But ultimately, always let me know what you think. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all again very, very soon.